The Laughing Council. The great hall of the Galactic Council was full of light, color, and noise. Creatures from hundreds of worlds sat on shining seats, their faces proud and amused. At the center stood the human delegation. 5 people in simple, black suits standing tall but quiet. They had come to speak about danger. Human colonies near the edge of known space were under attack. Ships had vanished. Settlers had gone silent. They wanted help, or at least answers, but the council didn't take them seriously. One tall alien with 4 arms laughed loudly. "Earth again? What is it this time? Did a rock fall on one of your outposts?" Another leaned forward. "Maybe. A storm blew away their tents. Should we send umbrellas next time?" The chamber echoed with laughter. The humans didn't laugh. The leader of the group, a man with short gray hair and a scar near his eye, simply looked at them. His eyes were calm, but cold. "We are not here for jokes," he said. "We are here because someone is attacking us. If you know something, speak. If not, then stay out of the way." His words made the laughter stop for a second. Then another voice said, "Humans think they are important now. A few ships, some mining colonies, and suddenly they think they belong at the table." "We warned you before," said a third. "Your world is too wild, too dangerous. Your kind came from a death world. That makes you unstable, unfit to lead." The human leader didn't flinch. He turned to leave with his group, but before stepping away, he looked over his shoulder. "You had your chance. We tried peace, we tried respect, you gave us laughter." He paused. "Now you'll hear silence." They walked out. The great doors closed behind them. In the silence that followed, one old alien, the oldest in the room, leaned forward. His eyes were narrow. His skin was dry like old paper. "You fools," he whispered. The others turned. "Do you know what it means when a death world species stops talking?" he asked. No one answered. "It means they've made up their mind." 2 weeks later, strange things started happening. The trading station near Earth's outer colonies went offline. A scout ship was sent to investigate. It disappeared without a word. 3 more ships followed. None came back. Council Command began to worry. They sent a message to Earth asking for a meeting. No reply came. A second message, a third. Still nothing. "Why aren't they responding?" asked a council leader. "They always respond," said another. But Earth had gone quiet. A young officer looked at her screen, pale and shaking. I think they've launched something." "Like what?" "A fleet. A big one." "How big?" The officer swallowed. "I don't know. The sensors can't read all of it, but one of the signals, it's massive. Deep in space, beyond the council's reach, something dark moved through the void. It was large, shaped like a blade, and surrounded by ships like wolves circling a lion. It had no name in council records, no call sign, no warning lights. But it had a purpose. It was the first of Earth's dreadnoughts. Back at the council, fear began to spread. "What is Earth doing?" someone asked. "They're making a point," said the old alien quietly. Another leaned in. "We must stop them. Send our fleets." The old one shook his head. "You don't stop a storm by shouting at it. And this storm, we made it ourselves." Earth had stopped laughing. Now it was the galaxy's turn to stay quiet. The silence before the roar. The days passed slowly for the Galactic Council. News came in from every corner of space. Trade ships stopped reporting. Navigation satellites near Earth's border were no longer sending data. Tiny colonies on fringe planets had gone dark. And still, Earth said nothing. The Council was nervous now. "What are they doing?" one alien asked. "They're hiding," another guessed. "They're building something," said a third. No one really knew. A small scout team was sent again. 3 ships, fast and quiet, slipped into human-controlled space. They never came back. Another team followed. Better ships this time, with stealth tech and high-speed comms. This time only 1 ship returned. The crew looked shaken. The captain, pale and silent, uploaded a short video to the council. It showed a brief moment, just 5 seconds. 5 seconds of blackness, and then a shape, huge, dark, and smooth, passing in front of a distant star. There were no lights on the ship, no markings, but its size could be seen from light years away. It looked like a shadow that didn't belong to anything. The captain spoke only one word: Dreadnought. Panic spread faster now. Some council members demanded answers. Others demanded war. The old alien, the one who had warned them before, sat still in his chair, eyes closed. "They are not rushing," he said. "They are waiting, watching, preparing." Meanwhile, Earth's space was fully locked down. No one could go in. No one could come out. And deep inside, the Dreadnought fleet moved like ghosts through a storm. They were massive black ships, built for one thing: to end wars before they started. Each Dreadnought had weapon systems never seen before. Armor that could take hits from planetary cannons, shields thick as ice worlds, and crews trained in total silence. No names, no banners, no warnings, only silence. Back on the council world, a few dared to call a secret meeting. "We can't let this go on," said one. "We must strike first," said another. But the old alien interrupted them. "Strike first?" he asked. "Do you think they're not ready for that? They've had decades, maybe longer. They've been quiet while we laughed. And now, the silence is a storm." Far beyond, the human fleet reached a quiet star system. No colonies, no stations, but a key place in the Council's network. It held a relay, used to send signals across hundreds of worlds. It was the first target. The humans didn't send threats. They didn't demand surrender. They simply arrived, and the relay stopped working. Just like that. The stars near Earth began to dim, not because of the distance, but because something was moving between them. Something dark, something huge. The first strike. The Jelvin relay station floated peacefully in deep space. It was large, important, and always busy. Hundreds of ships passed by it each week. It helped connect the Galactic Council's communication across the stars. But now the station was on full alert. Strange signals had been picked up from nearby systems, unknown objects, strange energy spikes. The crew didn't know what was coming, but they felt something. Then the alarms began. "Unidentified ship approaching fast." "Is it a pirate vessel?" "No. Too big. Too fast. Too quiet." They watched the screen. 1 dot became 3, then 6, then 20. Soon the space around the station was filled with shapes, dark, silent shapes. A massive ship took the center. It was shaped like a dagger, long and sharp. Around it, other ships moved like shadows, escorts, cruisers, and gunships. None had lights. None sent signals. The Jelvin captain opened the channel. "This is Jelvin relay station to unknown vessels. You are entering Council-protected space. Please identify yourselves." No answer. He tried again. Still silence. He turned to his crew. "Raise shields. Prepare weapons." Inside the Dreadnought, the human crew was silent. They had no need for words. Every movement was planned. Every target marked. The commander raised his hand and lowered it. One simple motion. That was the signal. Back at the station, the crew saw a sudden flash. A beam of pure energy, wide, white, and endless, shot from the Dreadnought's front. It didn't just destroy the station. It erased it. The station, the defenders, the nearby support ships gone in seconds. There was no explosion, just nothing. The attack shocked the galaxy. The footage was short, but it spread fast. 1 second the station was there, the next, only blackness. The Council watched in silence. The ones who laughed at Earth just days ago now stared, mouths open, eyes wide. They asked the same question: why didn't they talk first? But some already knew the answer. Earth had tried to speak, tried to warn, tried to ask. The Council had laughed. Now Earth wasn't speaking. They were showing. Fleet commanders across the galaxy scrambled to react. Some ordered their ships to return, to home systems. Others rushed to reinforce outer borders. Messages were sent to Earth again and again, but Earth didn't reply. They weren't sending messages anymore. They were sending dreadnoughts. The old alien on the council, the one who had warned them from the beginning, stood slowly during the emergency meeting. "You laughed," he said. "You mocked them. You called them wild animals from a death world." He pointed at the screen showing the dreadnought. "That is what happens when a death world species builds a weapon." He looked around the silent room. And this is only the beginning. Panic in the stars. The destruction of the Gelvan relay sent a shock through the galaxy. In every council system, red alerts flashed. Commanders yelled orders. Fleets moved fast, but their movements were not brave, they were afraid. Some alien leaders called for peace. Others called for war. But all of them understood one truth now. Earth was not weak. On the planet Varnus, a council fortress world, hundreds of ships prepared to launch. Soldiers in silver armor lined up in tight rows. Their generals stood in front of a large screen, showing the image of the human dreadnought. "This ship," the general said, "is not magic. It can be destroyed. We are the council's finest. We will show Earth they are not the rulers of the stars." But even as he spoke, the soldiers looked uneasy. They had seen the videos. They had seen how the station was erased in seconds, without warning, without noise. Many of them now wondered. The hidden truth. The galaxy was still burning with fear. Every hour, another council outpost went dark. Every day, another fleet was reported lost. But Earth's dreadnought still said nothing. There were no demands, no speeches, no peace talks, only silence and destruction. But deep in a hidden room inside the council's command center, a truth was finally revealed. A captured officer from the border wars was brought in. He wasn't human. He was from a mid-level race that had worked for the council for many years. His face was tired, his eyes full of regret. A council leader asked him, "Why did Earth attack us without warning?" The officer shook his head. "You started this," he said quietly. Another leader leaned in. "What do you mean?" "The border attacks on Earth's colonies, and they weren't random, they were planned." There was silence in the room. "Planned by who?" He looked up. "By us, by the council. Some powerful members thought Earth was rising too fast, too bold, too dangerous. They wanted to scare them, to break their growth." The leaders stared in disbelief. "You provoked them?" "Yes," the officer said. "You thought they'd beg, run, maybe even fall apart. But you didn't understand them. Back on Earth, decades before, the humans had already known the truth. They had seen the council's spies. They had caught the quiet attacks. But they didn't scream or shout. They started building. In secret, huge factories were hidden under oceans. Weapons were tested on moons. Dreadnought pieces were carried in silence through wormholes and assembled in forgotten space. The humans had never forgotten their world, a death world, full of storms, volcanoes, and predators. They had survived there, and when the stars turned against them, they didn't panic. They prepared. The council had believed Earth to be loud, wild, and emotional. They never expected Earth to be patient. Inside the council chamber, one alien leader slammed a fist on the table. "We must speak to Earth. We must ask for peace before it's too late." But another replied, "And what will we say? That we're sorry we tried to crush them in secret?" No one answered, because they all knew the truth now. The dreadnoughts weren't here to invade. They were here to teach, and the lesson was far from over. In space, another human fleet arrived at the edge of a council defense ring. Instead of attacking, they waited. 2 hours passed, then 3. Then the dreadnought opened. A channel for the first time, a single message appeared on the council's screen. "You made your choice. Now see what it brings." The turning point, the message from Earth echoed across every council system. "You made your choice. Now see what it brings." For some, it was a warning. For others, it was a final sentence. But one species, the Graal, decided to answer it with war. The Graal were proud. Their fleet was large, their weapons strong, and their generals angry. "We will not be threatened by apes from a death world," the Graal leader growled. "We will crush their fleet and send their ships back as scrap." He ordered every warship to move. Hundreds of ships formed a wide circle around the system where the human dreadnought waited. Fighters, destroyers, cruisers, all armed and ready. They believed numbers would win. They believed Earth would run. They were wrong. In the center of the trap, the human dreadnought stood alone. It didn't move. It didn't speak. The Grail opened. Communications. "This is your last chance, Earth vessel. Surrender now." Silence. They waited for 10 more seconds. No answer. Fire all weapons. Missiles flew. Lasers cut the dark. Plasma burned the sky. The dreadnought was swallowed in light. For a moment the Grail cheered, but the light faded, and the dreadnought was still there. Its shields had taken everything. Not a scratch. Then it answered. One word. Fire. What happened next was recorded by every sensor. The dreadnought's main cannon glowed. A storm of energy hit the first Grail ship and broke it into pieces. The next shot tore through 4 more. Fighters turned to ash before they could even react. But the worst part wasn't the power, it was the speed. The dreadnought moved faster than anything the Grail had ever seen. Its turrets hit every ship that tried to escape. Its escorts, small but deadly, cut through squadrons like knives through paper. Within 10 minutes, half the Grail fleet was gone. After 15, only silence remained. The dreadnought didn't chase survivors. It simply powered down its weapon and waited. Across the galaxy, the battle was watched by millions. On council worlds, people stared in fear. Some cried, some prayed, some simply sat in silence. Because now everyone knew. You don't trap a death world fleet. You survive it, if you're lucky. Back in the council chamber, no one spoke for hours. Finally, the old alien rose. "This was your answer," he said. He looked at the others. "You tried to control Earth, to limit it. You feared what they might become." He turned toward the stars outside. "Now, you fear what they already are." Silence and respect. The galaxy was quiet. After the destruction of the Graal fleet, no one dared speak against Earth again. The once proud council was silent. The meeting halls were empty. Messages that once demanded obedience were now filled with questions. Will Earth forgive us? Will they stop? But Earth didn't respond. Their fleets didn't move further. They didn't invade planets. They didn't ask for tribute. They simply held their position, powerful, cold, and calm. The dreadnoughts floated like dark monuments in the stars. They were not conquerors. They were reminders. In a final attempt to stop the fear, the Council sent a message to Earth. "We offer peace. We admit our mistakes. What do you ask in return?" The reply came hours later. Not through video. Not with threats. Just one short message. "Next time, listen before you laugh." On Earth, people watched the galaxy grow quiet. For the first time, no one threatened their colonies. No one sent spies. No one laughed, because now they understood what Earth truly was. A death world, not just a place of danger, but a world that created survivors, fighters, builders, beings who had learned to rise, adapt, and overcome without needing approval. The humans didn't destroy the galaxy. They simply removed its arrogance. On the Council's main world, statues once showed the leaders of old races, tall, proud, smiling. Now, a new statue stood beside them. It showed a human in a simple uniform. No face, no name, just a hand held out, not in war, but in warning. A plaque at the base read, "Mock us, and we may walk away. Threaten us, and we may stand still. But strike us, and you will hear the silence that follows." From that day on, Earth was never ignored again. The stars had learned a lesson written in fire, silence, and steel. And in the dark of space, where once laughter echoed, now only respect remained.